During COVID, when all of the crazy lockdown, go to work, no lockdown, go to work, oh, which vaccine should we pick? Should we pick AstraZeneca? Should we pick Moderna? I don't know what's more effective. I don't know. How long should we take it? I don't know. All of that, I predicted there was going to be a huge upsurge in people who would go, well, if this is batshit crazy, well, then every other vaccine ever made is batshit crazy. And look, I was right. And the proof is that an Idaho mother, 23 years old, her name is Andrea Shaw, she's being charged and held on $2 million bond for the first-degree murder of her 18-month-old twins. Now, why did she murder her 18-month-old twins, you may ask? Was she suffering from any postpartum issues? No, she was not. She was trying to prove that the vaccines that she took her children to get days before killed them. Yes, I will repeat that again. She took her kids to get vaccinated, but she was so convinced that the vaccines were poison that in order to prove they were poison, she suffocated them. I can't even understand or fathom that level of spiraled in stupidity. This is what happens when you decide that if one thing was done wrong, then all of the scientific community for the last 70, 80 years have just been paid off by the government because, well, it's happening right now. Well, it's happening right now with this group of scientists, so it must always have been happening with every group of scientists. Why on earth? And you know what's even better? You know what's even better about this case? So this woman, after murdering her twins, decided and was also featured on an episode of a children's health defense network. They're very anti-vax. Apparently RFK Jr. was their chairman until he went to be human health secretary. So make of that what you will. I am not one of those, oh, well, he's this because of politics. But no, Robert F. Kennedy has said some very batshit things about proven medical stuff, like the pasteurization of milk. He's against that. Okay? The use of antidepressants. Do I think they're overprescribed? Yeah. Do I want to go back to the time before they existed? Fuck no! Perhaps maybe RFK should do a bit of digging in his family history before he shits on mental health treatment. Anyway, that's not the point of this video. This mother joined a class action lawsuit against the American Academy of Pediatrics that this defense network has started. They're claiming that for decades, the American Academy of Pediatrics has had this whole massive conspiracy to lie to parents and poison children with the measles vaccines and the polio vaccines and the diphtheria vaccines and the whooping cough vaccine. Those are all meant to kill us and poison us very slowly. It's very interesting how far more our life expectancies have increased. The lack of infant death where vaccines are made readily available and mandated by public health. The lack of paralyzed children from polio, all of these things, those are all just, they want you to, that's what they want you to see. So this woman was so convinced that these vaccines were so bad that she killed her kids to prove it. Meanwhile, if you're so concerned about what's in the vaccines, why would you get them injected into your kids before figuring out what they do or what's in them or what? Like, ask your doctor. That's the other thing. When you go to ask your doctor and you tell these idiots, oh, well, I've asked my doctor and they explained blah blah blah. Oh, well, that's just what they're told to say. they're just government shills. Well, you're just a sheep for listening to them. Meanwhile, everybody that has this opinion has the exact same script. But we're the sheep, right? I don't see any pro-vaccine people killing their kids to prove that vaccines work, okay? I don't. I really don't. The anti-vaxxers have the only check mark in that column. The amount of children murdered to prove vaccines work, 0. The amount of children proved that amount of children murdered to prove that vaccines don't work, 1. And you know what? It wasn't even a vaccine death. There wasn't even a pathology. There was no allergy to the vaccine. Nope, it was just mommy with a pillow. Holy shit. The next time you guys want to be like, oh, fuck all science. Science is just government shills now. How about you take a look at this story and also go watch a few whooping cough videos with infants involved, because that'll tell you, that'll show you right now that, yes, the government and the public health agencies absolutely fumbled the COVID issue. That does not mean that every single health crisis that has happened before then and will happen after will be exactly the same. And we really need to stop just carte blanche going, oh, well, yeah, that's just science for you now. Because how sheepy does that sound? God forbid you use your critical thinking skills, ask some questions, and do some actual reading, not from fucking websites that have 8,000 .com, .pub, .giz, .whatever after the title. Okay? Okay. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next one.